Super professional intro with no music so I don't get copyright struck. Struck. Yeah! Hello there and welcome to the building of video for the Argo light flatbed lifter. Now in front of me we have her bigger sister, the medium flatbed lifter. Just for clarity, by the way, I'm not actually planning a heavy flatbed lifter. I don't have plans for one. I suppose it's possible at some point in the future I might have an idea about what that could be, and I have thought that it would be a CV if I ever do it, but I'm not planning to. So the light flatbed lifter then will be like this. I'm planning it to only be a single deck. It'll only have a really thin pad down each side, which I'm also planning, plan again Wimp, to be 15 by maybe about 5 or 4. They're going to be quite small. They're intended for bikes, I think. Plan. And then on the back, I'm going to have a 15 by 20, one of these big pads. And it'll be in the same orientation, so the long side will be fore and aft, giving the ship its width of about 15 blocks, and I think that's going to be about right. I'm thinking that the... Yep, of course, interrupted by a ramp or a shutter. It's always one of them. So the cockpit would be on the front, and it's going to be very similar to this one. And then on the side of it will be the door, similar to the Argo raft in Star Citizen. Obviously, that's what these ships are based upon. They're meant to be built by that constructor in that game. So the door will be there. This side will have a similar shape to the airlock on the other side, but this will be where the beds are. And on the side of those will be... I'm not sure if it's going to be a thruster housing similar to this or a smaller version similar to what's actually on the... Ooh, is it the mole or the raft? I think it's the raft, has a small one at the front. I don't think I'm going to do a nacelle. If I do, it's going to be a small one like the mole, although I don't think I'm going to have it diagonally like the mole. I think it's going to be flat, if I do one at all. But in my head, I'm looking at it now, and I don't think it's going to work. But we'll see how it goes with that. I'm going to do a similar shape to this, which, if you've seen the building of video for the medium flatbed lifter, you'll know this shape and the matching one on the front I got from a similar shape on the actual Argo raft. Yeah, so I'm going to end this recording now and make a start. So I'll bring you back when I've actually got something to show you. See you in a bit. Okie dokie, I've made a start. As you can see, she's going to be a chunky one. Oh, she's a chunky one, bud. Yes, this is what I've got so far. So, the cockpit I had a little bit of trouble with, like 10% trouble, so nothing to worry about. But I wanted it to be smaller than the MFL, just because this ship is supposed to be smaller, and despite its width, it will actually be smaller. So, as you can see, there's 3.5 blocks between deck and ceiling, and in here it's actually 4.5, kind of. Sort of. I mean, in some places, mostly. So here it's not, it's 3.5, but then you get to here and it's 4.5. No, it's just 4, sorry. So it's just 4 there, and then it's 4.5 here. Right, okay. And then in length, bloody ramps, my god. I should turn the signals off, really. So... yeah, I had to lengthen it a little bit because it's not as high. So these screens here that are in front of the seats wouldn't actually fit in front of the seats here. In front. So I just had to extend it by 1 block so that I can fit the support structure thing that is made out of other screens and then the screens themselves in front of these seats. I mean, so I did try having it as 1 block taller, the cockpit, but at this scale it looked a bit silly. I'm thinking now actually it might not be so silly. Yeah, well, so you'll know in the next update whether I have actually reduced the cockpit in length and raised it up in height by 1. Looking at this now, I actually think I might do, because I don't know, it just looks a bit snapping turtle, doesn't it? I don't know. So we've got the airlock on one side, the beds are on the other. So this is similar to the foyer lock of the MFL. This will be a passageway that runs not the length of the ship, but it'll run the length of engineering, which will be in here. This bit, which is sort of the mirror image of the corridor, except this wall is 1 block more inboard than this wall. Or I should say bulkhead, but you know, whatever. And we have the pretend make-believe water tanks and the pretend make-believe waste tanks in here. And then the kind of living area is here. There's the 2 beds. As you can see, I've copied and pasted straight out of the MFL. And here is the water closet area thing. This is both the toilet and the shower of the MFL combined. Yes, and the pipages on top. So the MFL has its power conduits along one side and its oxygen tubes along the other. Oxygen pipe, I should say. Can't really do that with this chip, so I thought they would go along the centre of the ceiling and I would raise the top of the ship up by 1 block. Do you know what? If I increase the height of the cockpit by 1 block so that I can bring its front end in again, that will work a bit better, because that will then... Yeah, okay. I better get the copy paste tool out. So there you go. That's the progress so far. As you can see, I've also copied and pasted the faux turret over too. And that's where the core was. I will delete this as I go. Yeah, it's looking okay. Yeah. Right, see you in the next update then. Oggly doggly, update time. I have adjusted the cockpit. It is now 2 blocks less wide. I have also reduced its length, as I said in the previous clip, and increased its height to fit in the screens. The funny thing is, because I've reduced it in width, the display screens in the cockpit now have to be like that. So a row of 5 rather than 2 rows of 3 with a gap in the middle, like the MFL. Yes. So I've also been a little bit busy, kind of. I mean, not really. But yeah, I'm getting somewhere. So I've attached its faux turret. I've done it slightly differently than over here. Putting it on top like the MFL looked a bit weird on this version because it's so much flatter. What else? So we've got the pipages, and I've done some of the engineering, although not all of it. Now on this side I've put the tanks into a little room, and then I'm thinking on this side I was going to do some constructors and the ammo storage, possibly. I was thinking about doing it in its own room, but I don't think that's going to work with the space on this side. I mean, you might be able to get in and then into the room, and this bit isn't walkable. I might do that actually. Can carry on the wall here, except with a gap in between. Have the constructors in the gap, the ammo in a little room here, maybe? Yeah, I might do that. So, finished off this corridor. I might put some more windows along it, but the windows are mostly going to be governed by where they are on this side of the engineering. I almost want to get rid of them because the actual Argo ships in Star Citizen don't have many windows. Figured out where the doors are going to be. This is where the little side platforms are going to be, and this was 15 blocks long, but it was governed by how much space this all takes up, so there needed to be room here to get past, and here, which meant that these have to be, well, they don't have to be 17 blocks long, but there's the space for it. And they're not going to be very wide. They might come out from the hull maybe 4 or 5 blocks. I haven't decided yet. I've sort of started where these 3 back rooms are going to be. So there's going to be 2 stores for fuel. Yeah, 2 fuel stores. Then here will be the cargo bay, which will also contain the oxygen I'm planning, and that'll then go out onto the rear pad. Yes. So the rear pad won't be here, it's just I've wanted to see how big it would be in comparison to the width of the ship. I think it's going to be fine, because they are lined up with this. Yeah, she's definitely a chonky one. I'm thinking I might do some windows. Maybe. No, maybe not. No, I don't think windows are going to work. So, another option. I don't think I'm going to be able to fit the turrets on these thruster housings that are on this version, because they're not going to be that tall. The reason they're that tall on this is because it's 2 decks tall. Tall. Say tall again, wimp. No, I'm not going to do that joke again. So I think this might give me space to put the actual turrets up on here. One there on each side and one will be here. I'm thinking that the ship will end around here-ish. Yeah. The Pipages are sort of coming along, so I know this will end here. This is the power conduit trunk. This is fuel pipes, one on each side, that come to the fuel store. The oxygen is this side, which will come to the oxygen tanks in here. The last one, which is this one, is ammo. Now the ammo store will be in here, as I said, but if there's turrets up on here, I still need an ammo tube taking ammo to them. Ammo. Yes. Right, there we go. Just a fairly quick update. It's coming along. It's coming along. Yeah, so I think I'll do something there. Oh! I'm thinking, instead of windows in the ceiling, I might do windows in the floor here. I know it's a bit, weird. It's not the norm. Obviously, I haven't shaped the ventral surface of the ship yet. It'll be something like that. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I wanted to, because the rooms inside sort of govern a bit these shapeages on the bottom. So I wanted to do that first. I'm probably going to then rip the entire floor out and replace it with a floor that now has some shape. But yeah, I mean, we're getting there. Oh, yeah, so because as well the cockpit is less wide, I've kind of got a bit of space here now that I don't really know what to do with. I'm thinking some spotlights. There'll be quite a few spotlights maybe, but I'm thinking I'm not going to put the spotlights on the top of the cockpit like the MFL. So that might be an idea. Maybe some spotlights and then the other ones on these shapes. Oh, yeah, actually, I think I'm going to do a smaller version of this shape here, the thruster pod things. So I might not actually be able to get, so they're going to be on the front here, on the side of this bit, on the front of it. So yeah, I think some spotlights there would be good. Yes, I think so. Right, so there we go. That's the progress I've made and the plans for the next little bit at least. Hopefully by the time I get to the next update, this will be completely built. Obviously it won't be things like the interior, so I probably won't have the living area here or anything in here yet and all of that kind of stuff. Probably won't have finished the engineering either. As you can see, some of this is copy pasted from the medium flatbed. Yes. So righto then, I'll see you in the next update. Right, an addendum to the last update. I've re-widened the cockpit, and as you can see the door has moved leading into the cockpit because I needed to make space for the habitation area, which I have now blocked out. I couldn't quite figure out how I would get... So the original plan with the door there was that the table and bench would go here and then the kitchenette would go here. But as you can see, that wouldn't leave much room because the door was on these two blocks here, the constructor and the fridge. And with the table and bench here being two blocks, had they been where that door was in order to give space to get to that ladder, there wouldn't have been much room here, and they would then have ended where the door was, which meant the kitchenette would have had to have fit in these two blocks here, and I couldn't get that to work. Obviously too small a space, so I had to move the door over, which then gave me room here to get to the door and supposedly to the bunks, and it gave me this space for the dining table and the kitchenette area, which is obviously smaller than the muffler, but the ship is smaller, so you know what you expect. So I've brought in two of the lockers from the MFL. It'll have the same decoration on it. It'll look like drawers and cabinets above and below and above actually. I have put in some skylight windows, and I reclaimed a bit of space for the windows by diagonaling the channel that leads to the window. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. The turrets still have some room, and I think this might be a bit flatter depending on where the thruster housings go, which will be my next job actually. What else have I done? I have finished in here-ish in the engineering room. So I haven't done any of the handrails along the walls. The only reason this stuff has handrails is because it was copy and pasted from the muffler. Over here I've done the ammo box and the constructors, as I said in the last update. Moved that door to the other side of the same block just to give space to get past the ammo container in order to get to the door. I moved it back. It's almost a full block extra of space by putting it there. Yep. Nothing else has changed in there. I have changed in here the lateral passageway / airlock, and I don't actually know what I'm going to call it. I'm thinking it'll just be the lateral passageway. I need to fix those blocks there, the block shapes block. Yeah, I've moved doors and walls and stuff around in here, especially to make this fit. Oh yeah, so I was saying in the last update that this was 17 blocks long. Well, it was only 17 blocks long because I wanted a 2-block gap behind the warp drive that you could walk around. I decided, why do you need to walk from this side of the warp drive to this side of the warp drive inside this room when you can easily go into the corridor and do it out here? You're still going from that side of the warp drive to this side, so yeah, I pulled the entire back end of, well, what there is of the ship so far forward by 2 blocks, and then that means this is now back to 15 blocks long. Did I see a door open? No. So as far as CPU goes, that's where we are now. I've done some maths with a calculator, and I'm thinking this ship is gonna have the T2 medium thrusters. They're 168 each, and I figured out there's going to be 38 of them on this ship. I can't remember exactly what the maths worked out, but I think it was just over 6,000. So that'll take me up to, well, we'll say 37, up to 37, because it was 6,000 and something. That'll give me 3,000 points then for the turrets, the fuel tanks, the oxygen tanks, and the cargo containers in here, and all of the blocks. I think if I go over the 40,000, it's not going to be by much. My butch. Yeah, so there we go. That's the addendum done. Yes, so much of this has changed and then changed back again. I had a cool little... When this cockpit was 2 blocks thinner and the ship wasn't, there was more space on the inside of those windows and this door. I had a cool little structure with these spotlights on, but obviously making the cockpit wider again has taken up some of that room. But yeah, it's coming along nicely. So yeah, next then, like I said, is the thruster housings and the little thruster pods that are going to be on the front. So I'm planning... I'm planning there. It's going to be... The thruster housings are going to be 5 blocks wide in total. So including these slope bits, it'll be as wide as this flat bit is on this one. Again, no turrets on the thruster housings. They're going to go on top somewhere. Right, there we go then. See you in the next update. Update time. So, I've got the thrusters on and the turrets on. I was planning to do 4 turrets. Why is that block missing? Okay. So, I was planning another... Yeah. 2 there and then 2 here as well. But I decided to save a bit of CPU and put just 1 at the back. It hasn't really done much, and yes, I know there's a bit missing here. I will come back and do something with that in a bit. But this is the state of the CPU so far. So all of the thrusters, all of the turrets are on, the O2 and the cargo containers are in, and whoops, the fuel tanks are in as well, with a bit of copy and paste from the MFL obviously, but there you go. I mean, they are related, so why not? Okay, that needs to be fixed too. Right, so originally I put in, and as you can see I got some pentaxid down here because I'm going to go warpy warps in a bit for a test. So I did originally have the T2Ms as I said I was going to. I've downgraded them to the tier 1Ms, and I think it went from 44.5-ish thousand down to 42, and it's not much of a saving, to be honest. So I'm thinking... Oh, do you know what? It looks like I'm going to have to do it anyway. I'm thinking the faux turret on this version, these 2 Gatling turrets here, are going to have to go. It looks like. I'll put the detector down here maybe on some kind of custom housing thing, plinth or something. That'll save me 1,400. Yeah. There is still some blocks to place, just not many. I haven't done yet the coolant pipes, and I do have a plan. Maybe. No, my plan won't work. Never mind. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do the coolant pipes. I mean, the thing with the coolant pipes is they're decoration only. I might leave it off. I know it doesn't make a lot of sense that, you know, if they're not on this ship, why would they be on others? They're clearly not necessary. But for the sake of saving some blocks and saving some block shapage up here as well, because I was thinking it would wind sideways. Oh, I could maybe... So maybe if I copy the width of this bit further forward... No, that's still not going to work. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. So the shield is taking up a lot of CPU. Oh, okay. I might drop a constructor. I'm going to drop the faux turret. And actually what that would mean is... let's see. So the oxygen pipe will still be needed. The ammo tube won't need to go forward of there anymore, because where it goes up into the ceiling there is already in line with the turrets. So that won't need to go any further, nor will that. The O2 will, but I might be able to reroute that somewhere else, maybe? And then I was thinking, I won't need this shape. The hump along the spine won't need to come all the way to the cockpit anymore. So I was thinking maybe I could have a window in the middle. Let's see, so where would that shape come to? Yeah, there. So it would end right where it comes down by half a block. Yeah, I think that would be okay, maybe? I don't know, actually. It might be a bit boring and flat up there now. I still need to put some antennas on it. So I'm going to fly it around for a bit. Well, I'm going to spawn in another one. It's saved. And I'm going to bring you along, like I did with the muffler. Okay, she's all filled up and ready to go. How much has that taken? Okay, don't need all of that. So, the medium flatbed lifter is designed to be able to do something, at least in a 4G environment. But this isn't. I think 2G will be about as far as I would be happy for it to perform. So I will go try it in the 4G, but I'm not going to worry if it doesn't do anything in it, if it doesn't, you know, if it can't lift itself, because it wasn't really supposed to. But I want it to perform in the 2G. How does it fly? Oh, considering that's all mediums, that's better than I was thinking. Okay, let's take it down into the exosphere of this planet. In case anyone's wondering, by the way, why I say exosphere rather than atmosphere, is because not every planet has an atmosphere. So then what do you call it? Because it's still not an atmosphere. So it's like the exosphere is the sphere of influence around the planet. Gravity, I get. Although, no, I think that's different from gravity well, but I don't know. Right, okay, so can you level? Oh, I have got all of them on. Right, give me a sec. Okay, so I've turned off all of the thrusters I would consider to be max lift. As you can see, I haven't done the underside of the ship yet. So, will it hold now? Yes, it will. Okay, so let's go up and then I'll set a course for the 2G moon and give it a test. Do you know what? She handles pretty good, actually, considering she's only got tier 1 mediums. I guess she's got enough of them. Right, setting a course. Right, here we are at the 2G moon. Brakes back on. Enter the atmosphere. See, I said it this time. Okay, 2Gs. And we're still holding. Yes? Yep, nothing changed then. Okay. Okay. Right, just for funsies then, I'm going to turn on all of the thrusters. Oh, yeah. And I'm going to go try the 4G. So I think what I will do is remove the photo on top, so the ship will have no fixed Gatling guns, and I'm going to remove one of the constructors from the engineering. That will save me another 2000 CPU. That will take me under, and then the blocks for the pads will probably take me up again. Maybe not over, but will definitely go up. Yeah, I think that's the plan. It's a shame to get rid of that one in engineering, because I like the fact that there were two there. But, you know, what can you do? Might be able to reduce the ammo as well. Yeah. Okay, I'll set a course. I'll see you over there. Rightio then. I'm approaching the 4G. Let's see if she can hold above the surface. Really? I mean, that might change if you're carrying something, but... okay, you can lift a further 3.5 tons. Yeah, no, so... carrying anything at all, really, this isn't going to work. Which is fine. I'm okay with that, like I said. Rightio then, so I formed a plan to get the CPU under control. Remove the Gatlings, remove one of the constructors, maybe reduce the ammo, since there's not as many weapons using the ammo anymore. Yeah, cool. So that's the end of this update then. I'll see you in the next one. Addendum to the last update. First of all, it went over CPU again. So, I got rid of another constructor. As you saw, we're miles under now. I got rid of the one in the kitchenette. Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to, you know, cook your food in engineering, I suppose you can. There's nothing stopping you, but this is supposed to be for repairs and ammo, kind of. It doesn't make a lot of sense to cook food in engineering, but like I said, there's nothing stopping you. But I needed to save the CPU. The reason I went back over the CPU is because I put the pads on. The side ones look fine, but I ruined it. I've ruined it with the back one. Ruined it. I mean, I could maybe go down to a 15 by 15 for the back one, but I mean that limits its usability, I think, its versatility. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is though, I mean, aesthetically it's okay, it's not terrible, but it is form following function. The function of the ship is it has a large pad on the back for carrying a ground vehicle. The form of the ship is that pad makes it look a bit poo. I don't know. I might try a 15 by 15, but I might leave it as this, even if the 1515 looks better. Yeah. But anyway, there we go. That's the end of this little update. Oh, so I did remove the photo, as I said in the last clip. And I did then try a window in the middle, but unfortunately it didn't work because of where this is. And I need to have this bit over the top of it to cover it up. It meant that there wasn't much room for the window anymore, so I went back to the two side ones with a diagonal shaft go into them. Shaft! Giggity. Oh! Although, the detector is now up here. So this is sort of a bit like this on the medium. But on the medium, obviously its detector is on the front of the foe turret as kind of a detail for that. But I'm okay with it going there. Oh, and I've added some drone hatches. Yeah, I keep noticing new things that I've done. So there are some little marks on the floor here, and if you stand over them, you can in fact deploy your turret in this little gap here. Deploy your turret, I mean deploy your drone, that's what I meant to say. So it is possible to get out here. Yeah. Rightio then, that'll do then. Say then again, Wimp. No, I'm not going to. No, I refuse. Right, see you in a bit. Update time! So, I've done a little bit of detailing. I have added the the coolant pipes on top. I sort of figured I could do it like that, and I did. This shape has changed a bit. That's moved around a little bit. What else? So I've added a thruster pod here to the back of the aft flatbed pad here. So I took it out for a little fly, just kind of around the construction dock here. And this 20 block long pad ruined its handling completely. So if we have a look now, there's the CPU. I've got a few hundred to play with. As you can see on my hotbar, the next things are the levers and sensors, the lights and the screens. I don't anticipate they're going to take up 800 CPU. The screens and the lights are 1 each, and the levers and the sensors are 3 CPU each. So I doubt it, but you never know. I probably won't be going over by far. So here, oh, and then I close it. Let's turn the thrusters on. Statistics. So pitch is 15 degrees per second. Yaw is 16. They were down at, I think it was 11 or 10. Just because of this on the back. I think part of the problem why it looked a bit stupid, and it is only a part, I understand that it still looks a bit stupid, but part of the problem was that this was a full block along the edge, so I turned it into a slab, a half a block, which I think helps. I mean, you can't really see anymore, so I've got my make-believe power conduit going to these little, I call them maneuvering pods. Yeah. So it looks a bit different. You can't really tell. I sort of think it helps a bit. Again, it's not brilliant. That'll do. Yeah. Ding. Right. What else have I done? I have also begun the device grouping and the custom shortcuts and signals. Now, I've only done what was already on the ship, other than also these, because they weren't already on the ship. And then I figured I could do the rest as I go. Yeah. Right, there we go. I think that's all I need to talk about. I can't think of anything else. I mean, like I said, I've detailed the top. I've taken some inspiration from the muffler. The muffle. Right, there we go then. So I'll do the lighting controls and the ramp controls now, and next, and then I'll do the lights and the such. Yeah, there we go then. Oh, have I done those since the last one? I can't remember. I may have done in here. I think that might be new, this might be new, and the screens from the again from the muffler are also new. Yeah, right, there we go then. I'm going to stop waffling. See you in the next one. Right then, update time. All I have left to do now is to paint it. I've done all the lights, all of the LCD work, the screens and the holo displays, and the branding, as you can see. And I've done all the switches and sensors. So, we'll have a quick look around now. Yes, there's an example of one of the labels. Now, because this ship only has one deck, I didn't think it would be necessary for the labelling to specify which deck the label is on, because it's only going to be on the one. So, yeah, it just says section and room. It might be a bit weird, this being room 4, cockpit is room 1, and so long as the cockpit is out the front, I think that should always be the case. But then of course the rooms that are connected to room 1 should therefore be room 2 and such. As you can see, nicely lit. Some of the branding is in place. I changed the shape of this wall in order to fit these on, although originally I was going to put this intercom panel on here, but I thought it actually didn't make much sense being right next to the toilet and shower, although I'm not too sure it makes a lot of sense being next to the ladder to the upper bunk, but there wasn't really much choice in here, because every like spare bit of space is taking up, other than there and over there. Yeah, so labelling is done. Yippee. I was tempted to put this big branding logo job thing in here as well, but I'd already put the intercom panel up and I couldn't be bothered to move it. I wasn't quite sure where I would move it to. Would I move it across one and have the logo here? I was thinking maybe in this little alcovey bit, or maybe there would have been okay, actually, thinking about it now. But it's there, it'll do. That'll do. Yep. More ding. Yes, signposting. This area above the warp core came in handy, because not only could I breach into it with the back of that O2 station, but I've also got one of the projectors there. Elion, can we get a move slower button, please? This is ridiculous. I promise. Look, I'm not holding down any of the go faster buttons. Now I am. Now I am even more. And now I'm holding them both down just to prove. Oh yeah, I keep meaning to mention, and I keep forgetting, that these aft thrusters here are based on the multi-purpose utility vehicle. The aft end has this sort of thruster arrangement at the top of the stern, so I sort of tried to do that. Right there we go. I'm not going to bother showing all of it. It's all lit, it's all got signs, keyboards and all of that kind of jazz. Right, so the next update will be I've painted the outside and probably the pipes like I did with the muffle, and then the last update, which will be after that, will be the interior. So I'll see you in the next one. Right then, just a quick update to say, as you can see, the exterior is painted. Now, much like the MFL, there might be a few tweaks after this, but I've got it to the point where I'm pretty much happy. I might spot a couple of mistakes or something, or I might make another decision about, like I might decide to move that stripy bit into the middle, for example. You know, it'll be... It'll be that kind of thing. Yeah, so there we go. It's oh, and the pipes and the tubes and the conduits are all done. Let's turn my head torch off. As you can see, they're all in this little bit, but yeah, they're all done. And oh, I've added an extra couple of Argo logos onto the side of this because there was that big blank bit there. I thought it could use something. Yes, so there we go. It's very similarly painted, obviously, to the MFL. It's also subtly different. Most of the top is black, and it's that superstructure bit on top that's orange, whereas on this it's mostly orange. But yeah, yeah, there we go. I'm happy with it. Right, so the next update then will be the last one, and it'll be the interior is painted. So I'll see you then. And she's finished. Let's go in. Actually, I might need to check the colour of the text. I know I changed some of it. Oh, lights went out. Scary. I very nearly forgot about these screens in here. They were still listed with just question marks. But I noticed as I was taking the screenshots for the workshop. So that was lucky. Yes, obviously painted very similar to the MFL. I obviously went back and forth to see how that was done. It's a shame there wasn't a second constructor there, but never mind. I mean, they're 2000 CPU. And, I mean, what are they good for? Cooking some food, maybe? Yeah, here we go. It's all done, and it's all ready for release, I guess. So, if you got to this point in the video, thank you very much for watching. Thank you also very much for taking a consideration of the LFL and the muffler if you have. I will be doing a ship tour video, but the chances are you will know what the inside of this ship looks like from watching this video. But if you want to watch the tour, or if you've come here from the tour, that's also cool. But if you're going to watch that next, I will see you over there. Right, so thank you very much for considering my ship. Yeah, maybe the first one was right after all. Alright, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Super professional outro! Just to give you time really to remove this video from your watch later list or something.